Welcome to the session, everyone. Today, we're diving into the realities of being a high-income single earner in Singapore when it comes to property investments.
Absolutely, it's a hot topic. What strikes you the most about these insights?
What really gets me is that even though on paper you might be earning well, like a $10,000 salary, the properties are priced at around $1.5 million, and you might only be earning about $101 a month net after all deductions. It's like you've technically made it, but the numbers just don't add up to a feeling of financial freedom.
Right, and that disconnect between the headline salary and the real cash flow is a huge wake-up call.
Exactly. And the content really emphasizes that most single high-income earners aren't failing due to affordability issues, but because they approach the property market with the wrong framework. It's a trap, man. You sit down for dinner with friends and suddenly you're bombarded with, at your income, you should already own a condo.
Yeah, that social pressure is intense. It nudges you into searching for condos in the $1.4 million to $1.6 million range, even if it means compromising on strategy.
Absolutely. And here's the kicker. Just because you can technically afford that property, it doesn't mean you should jump in without a game plan. Because, affordability is not the same as strategy.
Right. Now, I find it interesting how the content breaks down what you're really buying. It's not merely a condo. It's like a 25 to 30-year commitment, plus a hefty monthly burn of 4K to 6K, on top of the fact that it's a liability rather than an investment.
Yes, exactly. Even though it might seem like an achievement to own such a property, it really locks you into zero or even negative income generation. It drastically cuts your flexibility at a stage in life where having options is key.
And considering that singles have to shoulder every risk on their own, no second income, no backup, that lock-in really exacerbates the vulnerability if things go sideways, like a career change or even a temporary drop in income.
Right, and that's where the big mistake is. People often ignore the fact that, say, if you switch careers or experience burnout, your fixed mortgage doesn't adjust. You're essentially pinned down while the world keeps moving around you.
Exactly. But isn't there also a critique about the idea of jumping straight into property investment? I mean, isn't there an alternative time frame for making these decisions?
Absolutely. The content suggests 3 distinct frameworks. I really like that breakdown. You've got the safe path, where you build first and buy later. The fast track, which is direct condo investment. And the hybrid play, which is sort of renting while you invest elsewhere.
Let me get this straight. The safe path is for those who are under 35, right? Because you can't access subsidized housing yet, and you can, instead focus on keeping housing costs low, accumulating cash, and investing in more liquid assets like stocks or ETFs.
Exactly right. It's about keeping that flexibility high, ensuring liquidity, and in a way, building capital that compounds more quickly. It's like saying, hey, let's not chase the status quo. Let's focus on freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's the fast track, which is where most people actually rush in. But it's described as both the fastest route to wealth and also the most unforgiving if done wrong.
Right, because if you pick a condo in a growth location, something with future MRT access, transformation zones, undervalued compared to surrounding projects, that can really accelerate your wealth. But if it's done wrong, you're stuck for years.
I wonder though, isn't the fast track a risky bet? It sounds like if the market shifts even slightly, you might be hard-pressed to offload that property with reasonable profit.
That's a great point, and I totally understand the critique. The content argues that it's truly unforgiving. You have to be absolutely sure about your timing and location. Otherwise, you lock yourself into a long-term liability.
So then, what about the hybrid play? It seems like a very balanced, even if less glamorous approach where you rent your ideal lifestyle destination while investing in places where the math makes sense.
Exactly. It's the most logical strategy, though it's often overlooked due to ego. People feel like they should own and not rent. But realistically, if you're paying rent, you're just transferring funds to a landlord, and that money isn't compounding for you. It's about creating a balance between living where you want to and investing for the future.
And it really comes down to the idea that buying for status rather than strategy is a trap. I've made it, and I deserve this, can lead to expensive emotions that drown out smart financial planning.
Couldn't have said it better. The one rule they hammer home is that before you buy, ask yourself, who will buy this from me later? It's all about exit strategy. If you can't clearly answer that, why lock yourself into a long-term commitment?
Exactly right. And what's also crucial is that property profits aren't made when you enter the market, but rather at exit. That's a fundamental reality most people ignore in the heat of the moment.
Absolutely. And that idea, capitalizing on future exits rather than the initial purchase, redefines what makes a great investment strategy. It places emphasis on liquidity and the overall portfolio's flexibility, especially for single, high-income earners who have no safety net in terms of a second income.
Yeah, I also found it interesting how the content touches on potential future market shifts, like easing interest rates, increased loan power, or higher CPF contributions. It warns that only those prepared with strong capital, structure, and strategy will benefit from these changes, while the unprepared will simply watch opportunities pass them by.
Absolutely, and that's a critical point. It's one thing to manage your current financial commitments, but it's another to prepare for the shifts in the market environment. If you're not strategizing for future change, then you're not really leveraging your current income potential.
Yep, very true. So it looks like the content is really a call to action for singles earning well in Singapore, to rethink how you approach property investments. It's not just about making a purchase, but aligning that purchase with long-term financial freedom and flexibility.
Exactly. And to reiterate, it's not the $101 you earn in cash flow that matters. It's how you deploy it and whether you anchor yourself to a rigid, decades-long commitment or maintain the ability to pivot as opportunities arise.
Absolutely. If you really think about it, the analogy is like choosing between tying yourself up for 30 years and having the freedom to explore. It's like buying a luxury car that you love versus investing in a convertible that adapts to your future needs, right?
Yeah, it's like, a luxury car might look great, but if you're locked into a payment that restricts your other options, that's hardly the freedom you're looking for.
Right on. Now, one thing I want to challenge. Some might argue that owning a home is an achievement in itself, a sign that you've truly made it. How do you respond to that purely emotional perspective?
That's a fair point, but here's the thing. That emotional attachment often clouds judgment. Just because owning a condo makes you feel successful doesn't mean it's the smart financial move at that stage. When you factor in the monthly burn, the inflexibility, and the lack of income generation, it's clear that sometimes status can mislead you from true wealth building.
It's a smart reassessment then. I mean, if you're dedicating so much of your income to a liability, you're risking the ability to pivot, be that switching careers, starting a business, or even just having a financial buffer.
Exactly right. Ultimately, the decision isn't just about property ownership for status. It's about deploying your earnings in a way that maximizes long-term flexibility, satisfies your lifestyle needs, and builds real wealth.
Absolutely. To wrap it up, it seems like the clear takeaway here is that while Singapore's high property prices can make anyone feel like they've failed, the real culprit is entering the market without the right strategy in place.
Yes, and the content's message to our single high-income earners out there is, think critically about your framework. Are you chasing a status symbol, or are you strategically building financial freedom? That's the difference between feeling financially secure versus feeling like you're constantly falling behind.
Indeed. It's a deep and thought-provoking discussion that really challenges conventional wisdom. It really makes you ask, what does financial freedom mean to you at this stage in your life?
Absolutely. And if you're ready to reframe your approach, the guidance is clear. Evaluate your income, timeline, and risk level before making any property decisions. That's when you build not just wealth, but a flexible future.
Exactly right. Thanks for this engaging conversation. It's been a deep dive into the intersection of emotion and strategy in property investments for singles in Singapore.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Hope these insights help everyone challenge their own frameworks and make more informed decisions down the line.